see how you remember your numbers, because now it's time to jump to your numbers.
Are you ready?
So, what's happening with the auction numbers?
Well, clearance rates are down, as you could predict.
Listen, don't turn the mobile telephone off.
No, that's all yours. That's all blank today. 68.5% is the clearance rate for Sydney. Sorry, 68.8%. Got me going there. 68.6% for Melbourne. But the national clearance rate is 65.5%. And so that's not too bad considering this time of the year. And this time last year was 65.1%. So it's fairly much on par. And Canberra and Adelaide are still performing okay. Perth was probably the worst performer. Brisbane's been sitting in the 40s, so those figures are okay. I wouldn't be skiting about them, but it's what we expect this time of year.
Sure. Now, homes advertised for sale, have we got any?
No, they've dropped. They've dropped minus 2.92% over this time last week. And it's the same in New Zealand. It's almost gone completely in reverse.
Is that normal now?
It is normal, but it's okay because we've had 5 weeks of growth and we've only had modest reductions. But this week's reduction was very large compared to the last 2 weeks.
Start seeing the new ones coming on.
John, this is my segment.
I'm sorry, but I've got a valid question, you know.
Honestly, you know.
When are we going to see the new ones coming on?
I think they're already starting to. We're starting to see people look at listing their properties for sale, ready for January, or preparing for January and February. But negative 2.92. New Zealand, as I mentioned, has sort of plummeted, except for the Taranaki region. That bucked all trends, and they had a good solid increase. But overall, what we all expect, I would suggest.
And what's happening with the rents?
Yeah, they've climbed, and Sydney's actually performed better than it has been for a while. And again, this is the last time I'm going to say this. Since I started this chart 2 years ago, Sydney's been sitting in the 12. It's actually 14.29% from zero over a 24-month period.
What is that 14.2? That's
increased from 0 to 14.29% in that period of time I started the chart. So there's been movement, and in that sort of Melbourne came in at 8.51 and Perth at 19.41, the best performer. And that gave an average for the last time this year, for the last 24 months, it gave an average of 14.07% across those 3 capital cities of rental increase, and they're from live data that I get from my own portfolio. So it's been a pretty good time for most landlords.
John, you're a numbers man, but he's pretty good with his numbers off by heart, with no water cure or anything like that.
And he's turned his mobile telephone off too. I actually have to admit that he is absolutely brilliant at remembering these numbers. I can't do it myself.
Now the end of the show.
Look, happy Christmas.
Oh, thanks. Thank you, John.
Now we'll talk about vacancy rates as well. We'll see if we can have the final numbers.
Thank me again in a second. The vacancy rates for Sydney this week are 2.59%. Again, that's pretty good movement. I'm not unhappy with that. The Melbourne market has been the better performer. It's been improving quite better from when you look at last week. 3.72% this week was vacancy rate. But Perth was one that was worrying us for quite some time. That came in last week at 6.79%, so it's given an average of 4.37%. But Perth was climbing over the 7% for some time, so it's notched back a little bit. So it's going okay. It's going okay. I mean, any time, anywhere between the 3s and 5s is always really good in vacancy rates on an average.
Sounds good. Now, for the last 30 seconds, top tip for 2014.
Okay, if you're a seller, go back to the agent you negotiated your commission with this year, because all agents were negotiating their commission too low, and now new properties coming on at a higher commission, and the agent may not look at you as closely as they would because you didn't pay the right fee for them. So get out there, negotiate with your agent to give you the right service at the right fee. That's my advice.
And a quick one from you, John.
Brisbane is my pick for the next 12 months.
Brisbane, don't we love it?
And Charles will be buying lunch for us and RP Data later on.
He will.
Thank you. And John.
Just remind you.
And John.
Well, thanks for joining us this evening. Now, Tom and Charles are going to have a break for the next 4 weeks, as not a lot really happens in real estate in January. And so for the next month, I'm going to be presenting some special shows, interviewing various property experts and entrepreneurs. So I hope you all have a really good break. Hopefully 2014 has been a very good year for you, and hopefully we'll have a pretty good year in 2015 as well. So thanks for joining us over the last year, and look forward to catching you all again next year. Until then.
The information featured in this program is general in nature.